Well, some people ask, why is this so important? I mean, there are many causes one can pick, and yet it is the top priority. Well, getting rid of polio would have huge benefits. It's not something that we can hesitate now and say, okay, we'll get around to it later. We brought it down to a few thousand cases a year by putting intense pressure on the virus, by running lots of national campaigns. And if we stop doing that, the virus will spread back again. So if we say, okay, let's do it in 5 years, the task would be much harder, perhaps even impossible. So it's really in these next few years that we've got to keep the pressure on and get down to zero. Once you eradicate the disease, this whole idea of paralyzed children, children who die of it, that will be completely ended. The campaign, the global campaign, started in 1988. At the time, they hoped they could finish by 2000, but of course, they've had to extend that out. The first 99% of the elimination went actually quite well. It's the last 1%, which is what we're dealing with now, that is very, very difficult. Now, I mentioned with polio that we've been down, gotten rid of a lot of 99% of the cases, and even by 2001 or 2002, that was the case. There was a setback in Nigeria where rumors about the vaccine meant that the coverage went down there, resurged back into a lot of countries, but we solved that. In fact, in Nigeria last year, there were only 19 cases, down from 388 in 2009. India went from 741 to 42. Those are campaigns that I've had a chance to visit and see the kind of commitment that's going on there. Those two really are on their way. Pakistan and Afghanistan are the other two countries. I met last week with the president of Pakistan, and here you'll hear from Governor Ghani, whose area is one of the most challenging, about the commitment, a new plan to stop polio there in the years ahead. Polio is kind of like fire, where you've got to damp it down. If you don't have that, if you don't succeed in doing that, it'll flare up in places. And that's where most of our cases are now, are these flare-ups. Tajikistan in the first half of the year, and then now one that's gone on in Congo that's just getting closed off. And you see a lot of deaths, a lot of paralyzed children. It's a terrible thing. And that's why getting to zero is so different. We do have to raise a lot of money specifically for polio. The next 2 years, the cost will be close to $2 billion in total, and $700 million of that still has to be raised. Last week we made some progress. I was in Abu Dhabi, and the Crown Prince made a commitment of $50 million for a combination of vaccines and polio. And then on Friday last week, the Prime Minister of the UK, David Cameron, made a commitment to take the UK contribution from $30 million a year up to $60 million a year. The UK has really been a country that set an example of not cutting these aid budgets, even though they're having to cut lots of things in their budget. So let me summarize. Polio eradication is going to take amazing work. There's no guarantees, but I truly believe we can succeed. We have really all the things at hand, the science, the money, the organization, and it goes back to the original spirit of FDR and Basil O'Connor, Jonas Salk, Albert Sabin, and all the people who labored to raise the funds and advance the science that gives us this opportunity. So let us pave the way for a future in which children, no matter where they live, are not at risk of polio, and they're getting more of these life-saving vaccines. I think we owe it not only to the children of today, but to the generations of people who made the progress in the past. Thank you.